What's up, everybody? It's waba, and I am doing the third part of this build diary of this Trickster CI Shockwave Totem build. I've done some high-level maps, and I have some thoughts about it now, and kind of just want to explain the things that I'm kind of experiencing right now with this build. So overall, its playability is pretty good. The mana is kind of hit or miss. Like I have mentioned before, when you're relying on mana gain on kill, this means that whenever you're out of range with Assassin's Mark, you're not going to get that mana gain on kill. And on top of that, sometimes, if it comes down to a boss where they're only, fighting one mob and you're boss killing, there may not be ads that are giving you more mana, so if you have to keep casting your totems multiple times, that can kind of be annoying. So that's one thing, and you'll actually see it. I'm gonna have clips during this video, showing situations like that. This keeps happening in maps like Precinct, or not Precinct, Academy. I had this happen a lot in Academy, and or the boss, the Dry Peninsula boss, since his mobs don't ever die around him. So that's one thing about this so far, relying on my mana. And then another thing, it's kind of funny. So initially, before, when I've talked about Shockwave Totem since 2.0, for the longest time I've always referred to how you don't really need the quality on the gem.
Forget about quality because it don't even matter. Your GCP collection is crazy like the Mad Hatter.
And I'm kind of wanting quality more on the gem now. And this is because of the change that they did to mobs in maps that make things like, all the skeletal mages, the ones that cast Spark, the ones that cast that small frostbolt, whatever, I don't know what it's actually called, they kill your totems pretty fast. And especially the ones where they freeze your totems, that makes it really really annoying, and sometimes you have to work around it, and it could be really obnoxious. Now this means a couple of things. One, I want more cast speed, because cast speed will affect will shorten the time from the second you place your totem to the second that it pulses for the first time. And because of this, you can get a hit in, or you could hit the mobs and poison them that much sooner, hopefully killing them. Now the other thing too about this is, before, because you use things like hatred, often your first hit would freeze a mob, so it would stop any incoming damage from happening to the totem. So it was defensive for you in the sense of shattering, but it was also defensive for the totems in the sense that things weren't actually actively killing them. Being that this is a poison build now with no shattering, that is now gone. So we have to place your totems in a different way. You can't drop your totems in the middle of a pack of these skeletal mages, or goats, or just anything else. Sea witches, or not? Yeah, sea witches, and also the I don't know what the mob type is, but the ones that come up out of the ground and they use cold snap. Now they use vortex. They use a lot of these freezing spells. Really do play a huge role, or they're a big nuisance actually for Shockwave Totem now, and I'd imagine for more totem builds. Probably not Siege Ballista OP, because it has such long range and whatnot. But yeah, this is something that we have to consider now for Shockwave Totem, more about placement and how your cast speed affects that. And yeah, it also makes me think that I want to grab nodes like this. This is a node that I would have never ever grabbed before, and now I'm actually considering it. So, but let's go ahead and just talk about this build, where it's at right now. So I'm currently level 87. I'm almost through the Shaman's Dominion. I'm probably going to be holding on to Force Shaper for a bit longer. got just under 10k ES. And another thing that happened was I dropped Patient Reaper and I fully went into Shade form. I completed my Merciless Lab. Merciless Lab was pretty straightforward, pretty easy, and you know, I really like Shade form. When I do get that 20% increased attack and cast speed, it's really nice, but I don't feel like I get it that much. And yeah, so I don't know when I'm gonna be doing the end game, the Uber Lab. Honestly, I'm probably just going to go to level 90. I'm a very conservative player when it goes to things like that, or when it comes to things like that, because I don't feel the need to rush into things to get it so soon. And you know, this build is very playable right now. These last 2 points won't really make that big of a difference to the playability of this, although it will really help my poison damage. And that's actually something that I feel is a little lacking, and I'm trying to figure out ways to improve that. I think one fantastic way would be to use a Ming's Heart. The thing is, with Ming's Heart, the ES, or not the ES, the chaos resistance is completely wasted, but 20% of your physical damage added as chaos is really good, and that's something that will really help, especially with mobs like Oak in Dark Forest, or anything that has endurance charges or just has a lot of armor. That will really help out quite a bit. Another thing that, well, little side note, this happened. That's cool, but I'm going to be trying to 6-link this beast for Shawl, because I would really like a 6-link, so I could really play around with what the 6-link would be, if it would be increased critical damage or if it would be added chaos. You know, I'm not really sure. I'm leaning towards increased critical damage because added chaos. Shockwave Totem does have a damage effectiveness of it of, I believe, 65%. So added chaos, we'll see how it works out. Added chaos would help in a lot of things. And another thing about this too is before, since you got so much additional damage through hatred, through shocking mobs, through physical to lightning, and you also got added lightning damage on top of that, and with things like added fire and Herald of Ash, this really enhanced the damage of Shockwave Totem even at lower levels. Like a level 18 Shockwave Totem would do relatively fine in maps, but right now, with just using poison, it's not as strong as I would like it to be. You know, I'm still killing packs pretty quickly, and after a couple pulses, especially with 2, poison will take care of quite a bit. But I think this way to go is much more dependent on the level of the gem. So I'm really looking to get a level 21 gem and just a level 20. In fact, I'm trying to buy a couple of level 20 gems right now just so I could get that boost to really help me out, because just full disclosure, this build is not as strong as I want it to be right now, but we have areas for improvement. And even talking about the gem level and how important that may be, this may also mean that using an Empower as your 6-link would be the way to go. So I still need to get quality on all my gems. I've been qualitying this first because I've been prioritizing whatchamacallit on the tree, crit multi. So yeah, and then another thing too, another thing that I kind of want to focus on with this build is I want to fully utilize the more evade mechanic that you get through Shade form, which is right here. The fact that you get 20% more chance to evade attacks while not on full energy shield. And I want to utilize this, and right now my evasion is relatively low. I'm getting it from Ascent from Flesh. Gives me flat 300, which is, I think this is a very good budget build, or very good budget belt. I don't think it's something I would use in the long run. And then I picked up these boots. These boots are, they're okay. I think I paid a little bit too much for them, honestly. I paid 18 chaos. I think that was kind of a ripoff, but I really wanted to get that recently. I could potentially get a hybrid helm, but I don't know how high of evasion I could get on a hybrid helm. I could definitely get more than 270. I know that. Or not evasion, energy shield. But the problem with this is, like, you do need energy shield in the places that you could definitely get it, since your chest piece is going to be relatively, it's always going to be, in this, like, kind of like 550 to 600 range. So I need to get as much energy shield as I can on my shield and in my helm, while getting as much evasion as possible too. So that's another thing that I'm looking at with this build. And yeah, but overall, at level 87, it's not as strong as I want it to be. I think there's potential. The changes to the mob damage in the end game is affecting it as well. This makes me want quality a little bit more. Also, I'm pretty sure that the way status ailments work, it works the same way for totems. So if they have more life, status ailments will not last as long, but they probably won't have enough life at all in general. So that's also why something like this, if I could just reduce that damage a little bit so they don't constantly get frozen, that's kind of like a quality of life thing right there. And yeah, so, but this, like I said, just wanted to show you guys, where the build's at right now, what I'm planning on doing with it. Level 87, just under 10k ES. Still have plenty of room in my gear. I want gem levels now. I want to get level 90 so I could finish out the Shaman's Dominion wheel. And then we could start looking at other things. If I do find a really good ES chest, let's just paint a hypothetical picture right now. If I get a 900 ES chest that's really amazing, I may actually go out of my way to come down here to Shaper and get these nodes right here and grab an intuitive leap and grab these area of effect nodes, because we still want area of effect. We want as much area of effect as possible for this. It will really help out, especially because the more area effect that you have, the farther back or the more to the side you could place your Shockwave totems to actually kill mobs. Another thing that we really want is area of effect on our helm for Shockwave totem. I know it's really obvious, but it's something that I do really want now. And that's one of the problems with not using a Carcass Shack. Like, Carcass Shack was so good because it had 20% increased AoE, and I'm really feeling the difference. On the other hand, though, like, this is something, a little bit of a tangent. We could potentially go low life, and if we do the same thing, if we come down here, go to Shaper, Intuitive Leap, grab these two area nodes, we could go low life, and that would give us a little bit of room for our auras. Maybe we could use a Grace aura that would give us a lot more evasion. Maybe we could use Herald of Ash, and that would just give us fire damage, and it's just another added damage on top of that. And we could also use other things like the Vertex, which is the evasion ES helm from its Ziri. We could also make full benefit of our Ming's Heart. So there's a lot of different ways we could go with this build right now. And, for the moment, we're just going to stick with where we're at. We're going to keep pushing forward. Going to get level 90. My map pool isn't that fantastic at all. Like I said, I've had very little time to play this league. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping up to date with it. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And yeah, have a good one. See you later. Bye-bye.